Hello, and welcome to my studio. My name is Elena Shvab and I'm a head designer. Today is Sunday and beautiful sunny day outside. Something for a change after so many days of cold weather, actually freezing weather, and fog and rain, and today is a really beautiful day. So I hope you're enjoying your weekend, and I wanted to go live and show you what I'm doing right now in my studio, and the hats that already finished. I'm working on my bridal collection right now, and I just wanted to show some of the hats. And this hat, well, the elastic is going to be different, but lately I discovered this passion of mine working with crinoline fabric. Previously I tried to avoid it as much as possible because I couldn't understand the material and it was so hard to work with it. But I love challenges and I decided, why not? I have to try and work with as many materials as possible. And after so many struggle with crinoline material, I actually fell in love with it. It's absolutely amazing, absolutely stunning. It's not that easy to work with it, but after you realize the techniques and how to handle the material, you would love working with this fabric. It comes in variety of different colors, variety of different textures, variety of different width, and it could be straight, it could be in a tubular shape, and absolutely endless possibilities. It's challenging material because, well, as it turned out to be, it's not a material that you can handle the way you want it. It's one of the materials that sort of you need to have a conversation with it, to go with the flow, to let the material lay down on the hat and catch the shape. You are assisting the material. That's the basics of how you work with it. You're assisting and you're not commanding. You might have an idea, but at the end it might turn out absolutely different. So those are my ideas about working with crinoline. This particular hat, I love this material, this sort of cage pattern, and I added crystals, if you can see. Hi, hello everyone, so lovely to see you. All those little crystals that has a glue on the other side, so you attach it with a hot I don't even know how the name of the material, hot gun or whatever it is. So basically you attach it to the crinoline, and because it has this cotton thread, it's easily attached. So you can't attach it to the crinoline because it's a synthetic fabric, but working with just the cotton thread, that's the key when you can add different embellishments to the crinoline. Love it. So another one, and I guess one of my favorites, that was the first piece I started working with. It took me quite some time as it was my first experience working with crinoline, but I'm kind of happy with the result. This is a pleated crinoline and looks absolutely stunning, and it gives all this volume to a hat. I'm going to put it on so you can see properly. Just like that. So this is a statement piece for a bride who definitely wants to stand out, who wants her day to be the most special, to be really noticed. As of course all brides are noticed, but with this kind of hat you definitely won't be missed. So it was made of one piece of crinoline. I think it was 3 or 4, maybe 5 meters, I don't remember exactly. And one piece, I didn't cut it, so I just wrapped it all around the hat, around the hat base, and then I was twisting it around and turning and stitching, securing with the invisible thread. And then just for a little touch, I added this the veil. So just a little bit of it. And I also, if you can see, added some sparkle. It's not too much, just a little bit, so that it doesn't stand out too much, but it still gives its beautiful touch of something sparkly. And when under the light, it will look absolutely beautiful. So this hat is secured on a hat base that was made separately, and that's why it's secured comfortably on the hat. So another hat piece is this one. That's one of the latest hats that I made. In fact, I finished it just a day or two ago. Here I experimented. This is something new I never done before, and I'm still kind of happy with the result. I used a wire to keep the shape, and I decorated the wire also with little beads. I didn't have to do it, but I think it gives a really nice touch to the whole composition. And then I supported this line with little sequences and little beads, which I didn't want to put too much, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I twisted the wire. You see the beauty of the wire, that it supports the crinoline, and you have at least some opportunity of controlling the crinoline, of creating a shape that crinoline cannot hold on its own. So I twisted it right here, if you can see, and it gives a really nice curve, and then using your hands you can manipulate the wire, soft wire, you don't need a very strong wire, and it keeps the shape the way you want it, which I think it's quite lovely. And you can experiment with using the wire on the bottom and on the other side as well. So there's so many opportunities. You just have to start experimenting and see what this material can do, how you can handle it, or material can handle you. It's sort of like a little game. And then use different materials like wire or sequences or different types of veils, or I don't know, there's so much. You just have to come up with your ideas by trying different ways. Another one of my favorite pieces, also something new that I tried. This is also made from one piece of crinoline, and what I decided to do here, it's quite simple design. There's not too much of decorations, but it stands out because I added this silver metallic veil, which I created myself. This is a technique that I developed while creating one of my previous winter collections, and this is a technique that I'm teaching at Metallic Foil and Millinery workshop, is how to create this beautiful metallic foil veiling. And what I did, I just put it on top of the crinoline, so transparency of both materials, they complement each other, and it's still not too much, and it looks very tender, very feminine, very floating, and still it creates the dynamic by creating all these folds here, and by creating asymmetry with the bow sort of like design. So let me put this on and you can see how it works. Like that. Slightly asymmetric hat and asymmetric design to support it. Very simple, but still it stands out by just adding a little bit of decoration and by manipulating the shape itself. It's secured on the elastic, and it's very easy and comfortable to wear. The hat is very light, which is ideal for bridal collections, for any collections in general. But for bridal collection, it's very much important that the hat is comfortable, the hat is secured on the hat, because it's a very special day, and brides usually very nervous about their appearance, about the whole day. So the hat should be there on the hat, but it should not bring the stress for the person who is wearing the hat. So the less stress for the bride, the better. So I think those all the hats that I made with the crinoline. This one is another hat, but no crinoline, but I just added this beautiful metallic foil headband, which I also created myself, and this is another technique that I'm teaching at Metallic Foil and Millinery Workshop. And I also created these decorations using different fabrics. This is another my favorite technique. I love working with different textiles. I love creating new textiles that stand out, that you cannot find anywhere else because you are the one who created them. And just a little veil around it. Very simple design, but still very tender, very feminine, very comfortable. It's quite light. It's a paper straw which has these little knots as a texture, which I find it really beautiful. And well, there are a few more other hats, but the one that I wanted to show you, and this will lead to another part of conversation. This is one of the last pieces I'm working on right now, and I'm still not sure how it's going to look at the end. This is me just trying something. This is a headband made of wire and covered with metallic thread. So at the moment I'm just in the middle of creating, so developing the idea how the final piece will look like. And I'm just using this fabric wrapping around the structure. So this was the first one that I created, and I thought, well, this is a little bit simple, so I might add more structure. So there's 1, 2, 3, and now I'm trying to develop to finalize the design. And this is a process for me because I don't like sketching, because no matter how much time I spend on sketching, most of the time I come up with different ideas, because when it comes to material, which you cannot always consider while sketching, you end up with something absolutely different, because different materials, they behave differently, and then you can create different designs and ideas just by starting working with the material. So what I like to do is, when I have some idea or some particular technique and I would like to use it for my particular collection or hat, I go to work straight. So I develop the ideas while I'm working. So sometimes I spend time on doing this, and then I understand, well, okay, it's not that great, I should try something else. And then I create different designs. I adjust my idea, and I just try to wrap this fabric, absolutely beautiful fabric that I found in one of the stores. So I'm gonna try to wrap the second part as well and see how it looks. I might not like it, I might use another fabric, or I might not use fabric at all. And then I made this flower from cotton organdy fabric, and I decorated it with metallic foil here. And I might just create like dozens of those flowers and just attach them to the headband and see how it looks. Or I might also created this veil that I decorated with crystals. So I might just add the veiling and see how it goes. I might add just the veiling or other decorations. So this is the process of designing. It just it never works as you create a sketch and then you make a design based on this sketch. It's always work in process, working directly with the materials, and then suddenly deciding that, okay, I'm going to try something new, something absolutely new that was not on my sketch, but it just came to my mind, and I just decided to go with it. So that means be impulsive, and if you have an idea, go for it. Make a sketch, three-dimensional sketch using some different materials and see whether you like it or not. I usually, all my experimentations, I keep them, and maybe it's a bit different and wrong color, but I can always create it in silver or other color, but at least I can put it on and see if I like it. And if I add this flower, how might it go together? Or if it's on the fabric. So it's always working with the hat one-on-one and experimenting with different ways of how to put the decoration on top. So another thing I wanted to talk about, since we're already talking about design, is how to make your life easier for your future designs or when you have to replicate the hat, and how to start the idea. So what you start with is research. So I have here some of the some pages from different magazines that I found inspirational for me, that I found interesting in terms of shapes, in terms of textures, in terms of techniques. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna copy or create one-to-one, but this is very much important. You collect these for inspirational purpose only, and also for understanding what's the trends today, what is on the market, what hats are designed, what fashion is designed, different combinations of hats and clothes, the color palette, the different fabrics and textures. And just before I start a collection, I go through these magazines and I go through the booklet for researching purposes, and that sometimes gives me some ideas that I might incorporate in my collection. So once you finish with the trend and design and inspiration, then you go for material hunt. It's either you already have the materials in your studios, and sometimes you just have to go out there and see what fabrics are available, what materials are available, something new that you might try and find it interesting to work with. And I find it quite useful when I go to the fabric stores. I collect the swatches. I also write the price per meter or half a meter, the name of the fabric, because next time when I have to recreate the fabric, when I have to recreate the hat, I don't always remember where I got the material, how much it cost, because knowing the cost will help me to understand the cost of the hat, of the final piece. And it also saves you the time, instead of going to the shops or trying to order it online from what you don't really remember what shop it was. When you have the sample with all the information, it saves you time. You go straight there and you buy the material that you think might work for your collection. So always collect the samples, always put the information, always, if you're going to the fabric shop, ask them to put the sample on the piece of paper with the contact details, the name of the store, the address, so next time you know exactly where this fabric came from. So collect all the fabric samples, even if you think that this is the only time you're going to work with the material. Believe me, in a year or 2 or 3 it might be very, very useful. Process of making a hat. I know sometimes you're very impulsive with creating a hat, and you work so fast you forget to make the notes, but it's very much important to slow down and write exactly how much wire did you use, how much fabric did you use, how exactly you created the design, how you wrap the crinoline around the hat. Make photographs if that helps you, because after a couple of months you will absolutely forget this information, and it's very useful if you put everything in writing, including samples. Those are, for example, samples when I was creating a hat and I needed to get a particular shade. So those are all of my experiments, and I wrote down what dye I've been using, how long I've been dyeing the material to get a very particular shade. So next time when you do it, you know exactly how much time you're going to spend, what dyes you need, and so on. So everything, even that you think that you're not going to use later, believe me, in a couple of years you might go back to it, and if you're not going to use it for the particular hat that you've been working on, you might use this technique for something else. So always keep little samples of materials that you've been working with, the color shade, and write down every little detail that you might think could be helpful later. This is, for example, well, this is quite old, but this is from my college years when I was working on my final collection. I have here all the samples I've been working on while I was developing the hat, and different samples of different ideas which I didn't use, but right now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting, I might use it for something else. So it's always good to have every sample that you worked on for later. Here, for example, I was wrapping the wire with different fabrics, different yarns, and it might give you ideas for later, going through your old sketchbooks or different experimentations. And if you're not going to use it for this particular hat, you're going to use it for something else, or not, depends. But it's always better to have it rather than not. Different fabrics I experimented with, different textures. I tried heat, I tried ironing, I tried thermoplastic materials, which of course it's been quite a long time ago, but now I look at it and it actually provokes some other ideas of mine. So all different experiments, not successful, but still it's always useful to have it. Even it means that you'll have a lot of files, but it will save you a lot of time later. Also important is to keep the color palettes of felts from different stores, because when you have a client or a client wants a particular shade, you can send them the samples and start working from there. Cinnamon, this is from Baxter Hart. This is the wire, for example. Different fabrics from Parakin Fabrics. And other fabric samples that I have, so that's quite a lot. This is another piece I was working on for Royal Ascot, so I still have the fabrics. that I used for this collection, different sketches that I developed for the hat, because sometimes it might be useful if someone steals your idea and you can prove that it's yours. It will make your life easier. So I think this is everything I wanted to say for today, and I hope it was useful. And thank you so much, everyone who been with me during this live video. And if you have any questions or any requests for workshops or classes, because I still teach workshops live online, and I teach a wide range of different workshops, including working with crinoline, metallic foil, blocking hats, and etc. And I add more workshops every time. And you're also welcome to visit my YouTube channel, where I share different tricks and tips in how to make different decorations for the hats, and you might find this useful. And have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon during my next live video. Bye!